is another director of the FBI going rogue? It's the Quantico After Show, starting now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Give it a listen, guys. Not for nothing, I think this is an amazing call for an opening song. What better to describe Alex Parrish, right? Hey guys, Andrea Fasano here, and thank you for joining us for the Quantico After Show here at AFTERBUZZ TV. It is episode 2, titled Lipstick. And so me and my girl Renee over there, obviously apropos with our red lips, I'm gonna introduce you guys to my awesome panel to my left. You can follow me at Andy Fasano on all social media, and also check us out, tweet us at #ABTV Quantico, or leave your comments on YouTube. We'll get to that in a little bit, but right now, the Double G to my left.
What's up, guys? I'm Gabriel Gonzalez. You can find me on Twitter at Double G on TV, and check out my profile to see all the videos I did with Bree Galikovic of the Gilded Bellini.
Nice.
Oh, hey guys, I'm Drexel Heard. You can follow me on social media at Drexel Heard, and you can find me doing all the political shows here at AfterBuzz and Black Hollywood Live. Vice Presidential Debate is this Tuesday night, so check it out.
Woo!
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel, and you can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel. And check out my blog, Cat's Lipstick LA. My latest post was how to survive someone not liking you. It's great.
How do you survive?
That is awesome.
You'd have to read my blog.
I really like that. You
That's
guys go check out all of their good stuff right there. First of all, that song is sticking with us. I'm sorry. I don't know if you guys want to change it up. And you guys out there, let us know in YouTube land, what do you think? Do you support Dangerous Woman by Ariana Grande being our new opening song?
Yeah.
We
I think
almost-
that was
I'm into
perfect.
it.
Almost started this show with Lip Gloss, Lil Mama.
Yeah, no, it
were
was a
like,
different vibe. Different vibe.
yeah,
guys.
different vibe.
No.
I can rock out to both of them, but I feel like this
But
is
you
more
also
fitting.
said that the song was appropriate for Alex, but I think this song might be appropriate for Miranda.
Yes, sir.
She does seem a little
She is a little
dangerous as of the
dangerous.
moment.
As we open the show, as we tease with her, what is going on? We get like a sniblet at the end of the show. I guess we'll start backwards with her. We'll start backwards with her. You guys, we're on at 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
All of you
We
guys
are
on the East
getting
Coast are
punchy out
asleep
there.
right now.
It is like cocktails with the Quantico
I
After
wish.
Show.
Okay, so we'll go to Miranda and then we'll start it back at the top. What do we think about Miranda? I mean, is she another Liam? Is
You
she
know what?
having us chase our tails?
Okay, we got a lot of comments about this. Are they rehashing season 1? And I think no. I think they're gonna just throw us for even one more twist, and she's playing both sides.
Ooh.
And we're gonna figure out why throughout the season.
I think that we didn't trust Miranda in the first season. I think we might not trust Miranda this season, but my hope is that there is always going to be something good to come out of Miranda. Although she's lost a lot. She lost a lot the last season.
Yeah.
You know, she did with
She
the
did,
whole thing with her
personally.
son.
Yep.
She had lost Liam, you know, who is her closest confidant. So I'm really hoping that something good comes out of that she's playing both sides, as Gabriel said.
Yeah, I will have to agree with both of you. I really don't think this show is one to just like give us our biggest enemy the second episode.
Right.
And they're also not going to go the same route as they did last season, where it's like the overall, like it's not going to be another Liam situation, it being Miranda. I do think that this show goes with the foreshadows are very important. The themes are very important in the show. Like last season, it was all about trust your fellow agents, and then that one of the first few episodes when Liam said that the evidence you're shown is only as, what did he say, as
Strong
like
as
the
don't even
person
remember.
giving
Like
it
the
to you, but
agent
you
who got
yeah.
it,
Yeah,
something like that.
and then Liam turned out to be the bad guy because he was the one
giving
telling
it
her.
to you,
Exactly.
yes.
But in this season, it's all about don't trust anyone hiding in plain sight. It's just all about manipulating each other. And because last season they also did all these things where they're throwing us off with different agents and who's behind all of this, I think that's what they're doing with Miranda, but in a different sense. I do agree with like a double agent thing that might be going on. And then we'll find the reasons, the motives as the season goes on. I think Miranda knows what she's doing, but I don't think she's bad.
That's why I write down at the beginning of every episode, trust no one. I go into every episode writing down, just to remind myself, do not trust a single person on screen. And something Renee brought up, like, I really don't want to go down this path this season where we can't trust another head of something.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we got Owen. We talked about it last week. Where do we trust Owen or do we not trust his daughter? Do we already went through Liam? Okay, here's this. Do we trust Vice President Haas this season or do we not? Like, I mean, come on. There's only so many bad heads of departments that we can go through.
We're all getting trust issues.
It is, but it's kind of, it keeps the suspense up, right?
Right.
It does.
So I say before we dive in, let's review, Drexel, you're going to shout out to our YouTubers that left comments because you guys left so many comments for us. And we are we feel so warm and fuzzy from it because it was our first show all together. Thank you to everyone in the past who has come back, who watched us last season, and you're back commenting again. Even if you don't like the show, you're still commenting, and we love you for it. So, Drexel, get those shout-outs going.
So I wanted to, I wrote down a few comments. So again, thank you guys for leaving your comments down below, especially on Twitter. But I shouted out some YouTube comments. Cham123 talked a little bit about the title from last week. Kudav is the CIA cryptonym for CIA Deputy Director of Operations. Not entirely sure who. Maybe that was Owen. Maybe that's his title.
Probably.
I think so.
Especially for CIA.
Gregory House had my favorite comment of all the comments, which said, "Can we stop with the bold and the beautiful bull with Ryan and Alex?"
Yes. Well,
yes, did you see how hot and heavy that first scene was?
Yep.
And he talked about the title card, which I thought was funny, which I looked for this episode, which changed from last week. They went back to the original title card last week because it had the Quantico.
That was fun.
So clever, Quantico.
I liked it. But it was
it was clever the first time.
Yeah, it was clever the first
It felt
time.
like Scream.
Yeah.
Right? It was very Scream-esque.
Scream, guys. 20th anniversary was yesterday.
And David Gerard left a comment that said, "The guy that jumped out of the window could still be alive. The plane scene had more than one meaning," talking about David Call, who plays Jeremy Miller. He already died one time. Alex saw him again. He can't die again. And like I said last week, if there's an actor that we recognize, the chances of them leaving or them being a part of something later on will come back. So I endorse that comment because Jeremy Miller is not going anywhere. He will be back this season.
Or do they target twins and then Nima's behind it and Raina doesn't know and that's what's going to happen and this guy had a twin and then that's who came back?
I'm not going to lie, Renee, as you gasped, I was going to say save it for predictions, but that's okay that you just revealed that.
What do you mean?
I don't agree with
far
anything
out
you
there
just said.
prediction?
Exactly.
So thank you guys for shouting out. You know, we'll do this every week, every time that we have comments.
Yeah, so comment.
Awesome.
Please.
Thank you so much. So I like that you just mentioned Jeremy Miller. We have a lot of new recruits. Obviously, you guys, just so you know, we get to watch the show like seconds before we get on here. And by seconds, I mean a full hour. But we jump right onto the panel. So sometimes we don't have time to look up Kudav and those kinds of things. So we love you filling us in. Obviously, we just want to open the conversation about Quantico because we all love it. Woo. So we now know it's Jeremy Miller. I'm going to mess up these names. Leon Velez
that's
is Ryan's roommate.
Yep.
Diana Mampazzi is Alex's roommate. Harry Doyle is the sexy Brit / maybe non-Brit. Because he was fooling with the accent. Sebastian Chen is Harry's roommate, and Ryan Booth and Alex Parrish, obviously. So that helps us a lot getting through this second episode because we see a lot more of them. And, you know, something, we were just talking about Miranda, and she opens it back, so I don't want to really bring it back to her, but how can I not when she's holding hands with who we find out is Paul Burke, the Vice President Chief of Counsel for the Vice President's
Chief of Counsel, the liaison for the Vice President,
right? Which is obviously
the Chief
I
of
was
Counsel.
saying this episode. I at the beginning I was like, oh hey, it's Aaron Lazar, who was in La de Piazza. He was one in the original Broadway cast, La de Piazza, and in Les Mis. But he's not the only Broadway vet that was in this episode. Donnie Kerr, who was in the room with Miranda, also.
You had a moment.
I did have a moment. I did have a little Broadway.
You're like,
I was like, oh, hey. And I actually left a message on Donnie Kerr's Facebook wall saying, hey, it's great to see you in the episode. Yeah.
But we have time to do that, apparently.
Sometimes you got to multitask. You're like, oh, hey, let me just throw that out there.
Amazing and really cool. I'm so thankful that you're on this panel because you know everyone.
Yeah, he's like a walking IMDb,
Totally.
guys.
No, seriously.
Drexel, you're hilarious.
That's the only reason they put me on this panel.
Yeah.
I don't even know about the show. I don't even watch the show.
What's the
They just
show?
ask me who the
Quantico?
names are.
It's about the CIA. What?
Right. I'm like, I don't know.
So speaking of all of those
Yeah.
new players, we see them in the 1 year later, which we are going to call and refer to as present day. 6 CIA ops are all named by Ryan Booth to Raina, who obviously has no clue who these people are. And we see them, all of the hostages around the perimeter with devices around their neck that will blow up if they make a move.
How fun.
No, they're
so
tight.
fun.
They don't blow
Living
up. They're
life
tight.
on the edge.
They tie tighter?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they said they
Yeah, they
explode.
tight- they-
I
Yeah, so
literally
every time
heard
they
that.
go, that device that's on their back just.
Okay,
Yeah.
same difference. I guess your head pops off.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're deadlock collars.
Did you guys,
Crazy.
side note, did you guys see The Kingsman? The
No.
movie The
I did
Kingsman?
not.
Wait, with
There was, with,
from the baby one that's out right now. With Renee
The baby one that's
Bridget
out?
Jones's Baby. I know what you're talking about.
Oh my.
Samuel L. Jackson's in that movie. Anyway,
we
there's
will
a whole
be on Hollywood Game Night
Yes,
soon.
that one.
Together.
No, there was a scene where their heads all blew up, and that's what it reminded me of when you said that. It
That's
reminded
funny.
me of like, and there was a whole scene.
I literally
of
heard that, so I don't know. I was probably typing. Anywho, so it's really interesting how that whole scene goes down with these people that we now are getting to know better. What do you guys think of that when we're seeing them in any other inklings along these lines? And we could obviously dive in for the fact that later on, Raina discovers that they're trading out hostages for terrorists and vice versa, yada, yada, yada.
Well, I want to say I loved the way that Raina's plan came together. I thought it was very brilliant, and I was like, ooh, that's good. And, I think that just speaks to, how formidable this group is. But when I'm seeing all of them there, they all look very professional. Obviously, okay, some of them are terrorists. We know one of them's got to be. A bunch of them have to be. But now I'm wondering, well, if they aren't, there as part of the terrorist group, what are they just doing there in the audience?
Right.
Like, you have all these, at least from what we know, wannabe CIA agents. If not all of them passed, what are all of them doing there? So
Well-
I think that's a big question I have when I see all of them. And obviously the fact that they haven't interacted with Ryan yet and they recognize him. What's going on there?
That is super shady. I just feel like they could also be still working in the CIA and just, nobody
True.
knows nobody's business.
And even Lydia
Ryan
is
was
there,
told
which
his,
is...
job by somebody else. Go ahead. Any opinions on that?
I don't know if in the last season we really didn't see too many characters that we got to know really well that weren't a part of something later on. So,
Yeah.
whether or not they were there or not, they all have other jobs that they, for whatever reason, they could be there for some other reason. I think that the little things around their necks are just a ploy. I don't think that they're actually real because I don't think they actually want to kill anybody because their mission, I don't think, is to kill anybody. I think their mission is to get somebody out. And I actually wrote down how Diana, Alex's roommate, might actually be a part of it because one of the tidbits that we got about her was that she was a human rights lawyer, and the person that they were trying to get out last week, I think, has something again. I'm saying I can't remember Eric. I think again when we eventually meet this character, it probably has something to do with that, and they wouldn't have brought up the fact that she was a human rights lawyer if it didn't mean something later on, or maybe it could just be a red herring. I'm just making it up. I don't know.
Like Quantico likes to do. Can we
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
Diana with that hair in the present day for a second? I thought she looked amazing.
Yeah.
I was like,
Diana
okay.
with the good hair.
Not Diana with the good hair.
I went there.
I couldn't help it.
Oh my gosh, Renee, any comments on this?
I will say, Deanna, I feel like they're setting it up so... I don't know if they're setting it up so the audience thinks that, like, she wouldn't do it because she's uptight and is worried about her other job and not completely focused, and that's trying to throw us off. I'm really not sure. I will say, though, I love her line that was, I didn't come here to make friends, because literally every villain of any season of The Bachelor says that all the time. And that's all I could think of was Olivia, Lace, everyone's like, I'm not here to make friends. I'm like, girl... I don't know. I don't trust her, but I cannot tell if they're doing this to make it super obvious that she'd be the one person where, like, it can't be her, or if they really are trying to make her out to be some sort of villain, because she's the one person who seems like she wouldn't be all in because she's so preoccupied with her work back at home. You know, she's not like fully invested in this job. So it's like, well, it can't be her, but then it's always the people that you're like, can't be them.
Yeah.
Oh, this is hurting my brain.
I for sure don't think that she's on the phone with work. I think, at first I thought it was personal, especially because Lydia Bates called to attention the fact she looks down. And when we're all dealing with something that's emotional, don't you just like kind of shut down and you just look, you know, you look down, you think you're thinking. So I thought it was something a little more personal. And obviously it reminds me of Natalie from season 1 a little bit retrospectively.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I like her. I'm telling you, in the first episode, I was like, okay, the girl was crying. That's all we saw of her. So I liked seeing a little more of her this episode. Moving on.
Oh, I was just about to say, we don't actually find out what it was she was crying about.
No.
Right.
And so
She keeps hanging up on whoever it was, and like they're just okay every time they pick the phone back up.
It's a mystery that's got to come back up just because that's her
Absolutely.
introduction.
For sure.
Yeah, it's just like last season though, the whole deal with Shelby and her secret phone calls, they made it out to be so sketchy, and then it was like a whole other story that had nothing to do with like the main plot. So it makes me wonder if that's what they're doing with her, if it is connected, but would they make it that obvious if it was connected? This show. I don't know, it could be anything.
I also wrote down that there was a scene with Lydia and Diana, since we're on the Diana track, where she was talking to her, and it seemed like Lydia was like buttering her up, like getting in her head in a positive way, so that Diana would trust Lydia later on. And so maybe again, you know, Lydia's, you know, target number 1 for our who done it.
Yes.
Or who's pulling the strings. So that might be a tactic that Lydia is using to kind of get to know people a little bit better. She kind of hinted at that with the scene with Alex a little bit later on, where she didn't really like, or she said, oh, hey, you know, I find this about you, this, that, and the third about you, and I really want you to do well, X, Y, and Z. And it's the same speech that she gave Diana earlier. Now, it might be woman power, which is great, but it also could be a tactic.
I was going to say, to your point, is assuming Lydia is using Diana, and you said that, hey, well, Diana would be the one, the human rights lawyer, they got a human rights, I don't want to say activist, but their crime that they were in prison for is related to that.
Right.
Well, that's clearly someone Lydia would need on her team.
Right.
Whether or not she actually makes it, but to your point, that is, you know, well, like, hey, I don't want you to quit. I need you to come join us on the dark side.
Because the whole time she was like, why am I here? There's only, like I said, the fact that she brought up the fact that she was a human rights lawyer is absolutely key, I think, to what's going to happen.
Pertinent information. Two things. One, I love both of these sides of it, but I just love hearing you guys and really seeing that Quantico has completely made us analyze and overanalyze each character of this show. Where in season 1 you would have never been like, it's Caleb, just even with the way he was playing it, because you're like, no way, he's too cute, like if anything. And then now, you know, we just can't have a show without talking about Caleb, but
Yeah,
can we be that way about Shelby?
We're waiting for him.
Would love Graham Rogers on the show. Thanks. Call us.
So with this, it's hilarious because it's like Lydia is supposed to be, you know, someone who's guiding her team, and we're like, no, but this might be her, you know, her whole other side of her. Speaking of that, do we feel like this week everyone was trying to support everyone else? Lydia talks to Diana, Ryan talks to Diana, Lydia then turns around and talks to Alex, and all like, you can do it. Pep talks. What is that about?
They're all with ulterior motives, though. It's like no one
And
actually.
we're back.
No one actually pumped.
one.
No one actually pumped the other one up because they actually want them to succeed. They're pumping them up because it's like, I want you to trust me. I want you to give me more information. It wasn't because, hey, Andy, I don't want you to quit. I want you to stay and join the dark side of the CIA. None of them did that.
I mean,
Owen,
the same way with Ryan, had that conversation with Ryan. Like, I want to get to know you a little bit better.
Thank you.
Like, that is
Number 4.
Yeah, right. You could literally go around, you know. So, I mean, we'll see what happens.
Even Harry, I feel like with Alex, he wasn't that like in her face about being the trigger for her being the rabbit. So I felt like he still was like, you'll do better next time.
Well, yeah, they're all manipulating each other all the time. Like this show, that's the thing. This season's biggest theme is really trust no one, follow your instincts,
Yeah, we're
listen
gonna
to
stick
the
with that.
mission. Yeah. So
stick with that.
I'm not gonna say that any of these people are actually trying to be supportive of one another. I totally agree that there's ulterior motives. I just think everyone is constantly manipulating each other, which would be such a toxic environment to be undercover in and like not have anyone to talk to about it. Yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like all my sentences are gonna end in I don't know about this show, guys.
Maybe. So can we get hot and steamy for a second with
The scene?
couple of moments of a scene between Alex and Ryan?
You mean the bold and the beautiful moment?
The bold and
The
the
bold and the
beautiful
beautiful moment,
moment.
thanks to Gregory.
I mean, obviously not something we need to talk about, but it was they haven't done something like that in a while. I feel like Quantico, and it was really ever, or if ever,
That was like the most I've seen of
when
that
they were in
on
the
the
car
show.
of the first season.
No,
Yeah,
that
the
wasn't.
pilot.
That was not
as
sexy.
much.
That was like no, it wasn't skin either.
There was
we
like
didn't see
a
any
lot
skin.
of skin in this
Yes.
one. Like it was constant.
I think they
skin
just tried to
interaction.
show how connected that they really are. or
Either
got.
that or ABC does ABC, the family channel, does a really great job of having those scenes, whether or not it's in a Shonda Rhimes show,
Oh, yeah.
whether or not it's this show. I think that they do these scenes tastefully.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And
did.
well,
Definitely
that some
tasteful.
other networks might not be able to do because
Right, they
their
can't pull off.
viewership is very different. Like we see Ryan, some people might see the Ryan Alex scene as a sex scene, but some people might see it as a love scene. It's very different. I think that's just the way that ABC kind of frames it.
It's not just there to be raunchy.
Right.
Also, like, I'm getting really frustrated with them constantly meeting up in this room, and like, people are noticing that they're not in their rooms. What are they doing? They're undercover on a mission. They're like, but we can spend the night together, right? No!
Right.
With
No,
wine.
you can't.
With wine.
I did think it was very weird that Owen only when they came late to yoga,
You just
and his
love
only his only reaction was Blair Underwood.
Ryan.
Can you come on this show too? Blair
Graham
Underwood,
Rogers,
paging Blair
Blair
Underwood. That his
Anyone?
that is
Hold
only
it together, brother. I know he's a good-looking man, but come on.
that his only reaction was
I love him.
that. Hey guys, nice of you to join us. Like that was his only reaction.
Yes.
Like where have
Yes.
you two been? The rest of the class is here, and Lydia was like, "Oh, so showing up late." Like there was no.
Like, you're not
There
gonna
was
raise
no-
your
There was
eyebrows
no
at
like.
that.
Yeah, there was no like. Why are you too late?
Like go run
Together.
200 laps.
Especially when you're both trying to pretend like you don't love each other and
Yeah.
know each other that well. You
Do
come
you-
in late together. That's weird.
You know, in
I agree.
season 1, when you pulled something like that, you were either
Followed.
let go or followed or something. But that
By
just
Natalie.
happened. Yeah, right. That happened,
Natalie.
and then they were like, for all of you who got made or something, try harder. Really? That
Right.
aren't we in the CIA?
Right.
But I feel like that needs to be upped a little bit.
Yeah. What were they saying in the beginning about like if you fail
stakes.
the assignment? Wasn't it about failing the assignment, then you get cut? When does that happen? Aren't
Right.
these the assignments?
Right. When do they? Maybe there's not as many recruits as there was.
Oh, I guess no one got
there's-
caught.
No one got cut.
Oh, true. Yeah, because Alex was supposed to not figure it out because they're supposed to be doing their job. So,
Right.
like, I mean,
The
if she,
SDR, surveillance detection routes.
yeah. So technically, they passed. I
Yeah,
guess.
well, but that's what I'm
because
saying.
it's only
She
2
didn't,
weeks at
and
the bottom
Diana
of
didn't.
2 weeks at the bottom of the murder board gets you knocked off.
Yeah,
And
that's
Diana,
very
And
good.
then it's been
Diana,
there 2 weeks.
and
yeah.
Diana was at the bottom of. Seemed to be at the bottom of the murder board
This one.
this week.
Interesting. I thought they were gonna end with that.
They did. They showed the. They didn't really show the board. It was in the background. But then Diana brought it up that I got the message. I'm at the bottom of the
Right.
board. So
Okay, so technically they.
I mean,
but
yeah.
I like the board.
I want the board.
I think
want
the
the
board.
board
I
to
want
be
the
a
board
whole
to
part of the
board.
season.
I like the lights. I like the names. Keeps us connected, guys.
I was actually gonna bring up the fact that damn, I just lost it too.
Uh-oh.
But okay, sorry, I brought it back. Owen, one of his big things about being in the CIA, the FBI was all about teaching you how to hide and all this stuff. But the CIA, it's like you have to lose your identity in order to do this, and I think that's why, not necessarily cutting them just because they can't do it, but they're supposed to go through this process. They're supposed to change. Obviously, you have the parallel, the Alex-Ryan relationship. These characters are going to change as they
Right.
get deeper into the case undercover. But I think that's what they're trying to get at in not just cutting everybody first. It's like, who's really going to take that step to become that, rogue agent that they're trying to recruit?
I thought it was really cool. I thought the whole task, the surveillance task, was really cool.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they're back to the formula that they had last season, where we actually get to see a full task or operation that they're teaching through that. Just a side note on the cinematography, though, I thought it was really cool. As he was writing on the board, you could see the scene, that the live scene as it was
Very
happening.
true.
Not that obviously he's looking through it, but I'm saying like cinematography wise, that's the way they did that. I wrote
Nice.
down,
Cool.
filming, that was really cool. But I did peg Harry as
Me
the
too.
tail from the beginning, because I was
Same.
like, that's
I was like, it
too...
was shady that he was with her the whole time, and then they were trying to find that last person. You're like, well, obviously it has to be him.
I
Then.
thought
out of-
Alex
Yes.
was kind of stupid. Like, you
Right.
don't just look, like, they made it so clear that your trigger is the closest person to you.
Right.
Yeah.
And they delivered it, like, you want to talk cinematography, the way they delivered it, it was like
Right.
this, and she's going, 4 corners, wonder who the trigger is. And I'm like,
it's like,
He's
that
standing
guy.
right behind you,
Yeah.
Alex, looking at you.
Right.
I know
Oh,
it.
And if they're the closest, and you're spotting all of these people from far away, especially Alex, like, wouldn't it click?
It just,
Right.
I don't know.
It
that
clicked
was
for
kind
the
of
should've
odd.
audience,
Yeah.
Alex.
It should have
so-
clicked. Just get it together, Alex. It should have clicked for her as soon as he asked her out for a drink.
Well, very true.
That should have been the red flag.
The red
Hey,
flag.
but he
Someone
played
wants to
it
get a
off
drink with
very
Alex
Harry,
Parrish.
style. Like, is he trying to get at Alex? Is he
Dirty
just
Harry.
being
That's what we're
silly?
gonna call him.
Nice.
Dirty
Harry.
Harry.
I like it.
But no, I like that because she's like, okay, who are the 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a 5th one, and it's like,
Yeah,
oh, come
I know.
on.
It was kind of silly.
And I
you
wrote
know,
down that. Sorry,
okay.
Yeah.
Paul Burke
Yep.
is the Deputy National Security Advisor.
Deputy
Deputy
Oh.
National Security
I
Advisor.
thought you said VP.
But you know what I will say? I think the reason why they did that scene is because they're trying to really emphasize don't trust anyone, and how Alex is so used to trusting her like fellow agents and whatever.
Right.
She's like, no, this is where she's friends.
But
And
she
then-
didn't. The entire season 1, she didn't trust
I know,
anybody.
but now she
all of a
does.
sudden,
And
Now
it's
she
like,
wants to, and it's blown up in her face.
yeah.
yeah.
But I
New-
think,
new
but I also,
game,
but I
if
also
you-
think she didn't trust. She never trusted Liam really from the beginning. She did, and then she didn't. But then she also didn't trust her fellow recruits. Turned out that towards the end of the season, remember the whole scene where they were in and they were talking about, they were looking at the screens and like she was following every one of them and they all walked in on her because she didn't trust any of them. Like, I think that she's in that zone where she's saying, I now need to start trusting my people because I've gone through this before.
Yes.
And I only need to look at the people that really matter at this point. So she has no reason right now not to trust anybody other than who Miranda and
Tells her
the other guy tells him to.
Which goes back to season 1, which that line, I wish someone knew that exact line verbatim, but when Liam says you can't trust the... You know the one
Somebody
with
in the comments
evidence?
is going to write it down.
Please
for us
write
and
it
we're gonna
down.
for the next
Our
episode.
Because they're
amazing
using that
viewers.
again, because Miranda's giving her these 2 suspects, and
Yes.
you can't trust the evidence she's giving her because right now she's not the one to be trusted.
Yeah. I agree.
I was just gonna say, if you're at home, take a sip every time we say trust no one.
Trust
Nice.
no one. We're actually going to
Drinking
change the
game.
title card to
trust no one.
Quantico Trust No One. After show.
That's a really good point. This is
Bring
late
in our
enough
own
on
side.
all
Get over it.
formats in the USA that a drinking
Yeah,
game
if
would
you're
be
watching
Drinking
live,
perfect.
it's
Yes.
Yeah.
like,
It's 5 o'clock
time-
somewhere. In
Yeah,
I'm
very
sure.
much so.
Hey,
So-
if you're waking up in the morning, take a sip of your
Take a sip
coffee.
of your coffee, right.
Yeah.
Watch us. So obviously we're gonna wrap this up all about Alex. First of all, in the present day, she gets caught. Well, she doesn't get caught. She tries to save an NYPD, officer, and he does a very heroic thing by pushing her
Seriously.
behind the door and kind of giving up his life so that she's not spotted. And I thought that was kind of awesome and definitely not expected.
Here's the thing. I just want to point this out. If you don't see the person die, the chances of them being dead
Ooh.
is very slim. We did not
I
see
don't
the
think he's
NYPD
coming
officer.
back.
I don't think he's coming back. But
'Cause you don't
trust
know him.
no one in this show.
You don't know his
I don't
name
know
as
his
an actor.
name.
Hold on.
And I'm just saying, we saw the guy jump out the window, like they said,
I
like the
trust
comments
that
said.
he had a
He
parachute.
jumped out the
his
plane and
parachute,
made it
but
back.
The NYPD officer, all we heard was,
Bang, bang.
bang,
Bang.
and he put her in a room that he knew where to go. Is he working with the terrorist people? I don't know.
No.
I'm just saying, I'm
I
just throwing
think
that
he's
out there. I mean, he might be dead. He probably is dead.
We're gonna become
I mean, that's what's gonna make
paranoid
you sharp
people.
about
That's what I'm
Quantico,
saying.
but I think it's safe to say he ain't coming
He
back.
might not be coming back.
He's
Let me tell you what. You know what show made me not really trust anybody? The Following. I don't know if you guys watched The Following with Kevin Bacon, but that show,
And
trusted no one. I'm telling you, some people's gonna be like, yeah, you trust no one in that show. You need to watch. It's on Netflix. Whatever.
Did it get canceled or is it still on?
I don't know.
I love him. He's so great. So let's transfer over into the past again. Alex finds out that her handler is someone she's very familiar with and who approached her on the street, and they kind of tried to play it off, but Harry was suspicious. It's Shelby. She's back in more than just, one way and in Alex's life, and I kind of like this. I like
now
her
makes
presence here.
sense why she was assigned to Alex, because Miranda, whatever she's doing, probably knew that someone there would do their research, because what are they training? They're going to be spies. They're going to figure out, I can Facebook stalk someone. Like, they're going to figure out this person. Anyways, my point is, yeah, because that's why she did it. I was so mad before I knew Miranda is doing something. I was so mad that they assigned Shelby to her, because of course Alex was a really big deal all over the news. They're gonna have pictures together, her and Shelby, and all of these people are skeptical of each other and trying to manipulate each other and figure out everything about each other. They're gonna Google image search. So, but I don't know where this is gonna go from here. But now he knows.
But wouldn't have been? Do you guys think it would have been better if Shelby would have at least said, "Oh, hey, Alex," because everybody knows that Alex is from the FBI. Shelby, like, being an FBI agent isn't like some secret thing like being a CIA agent.
Right.
Shelby could have at least been like, "Hey, I know her from the FBI."
I don't know if you could just say that.
I mean, I don't
on
think
the
you
street.
Play it off.
I'm saying-
because she acted like, oh my god, my daughter's such a big fan.
Yeah,
remember?
but then look at Harry 2 scenes later where he's Googling. I mean, that would have just been like, hey, these guys are CIA. Shelby should have known. These guys are CIA agents, to your point. They can Google. They can find out anything.
I mean,
she
she
probably
did get
should have.
the hint from Alex, from her just
Yeah.
like head nod or whatever. Like,
Right.
listen.
Oh,
no,
I thought
Actually,
she wrote it
Shelby
down.
called it before Alex, because I don't think Alex knew that Harry was
coming
coming.
across the street.
right.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought she saw him. Yes, the
She didn't
guys,
see
they
him
were
beat
on
the
the
rabbit. How
phone
did she
across
not
the
see him?
street.
What?
Weren't they on the phone across the street from each other?
Who?
No, because
Harry and Alex.
No, because remember, like, Alex, if you're looking at it, she was in front, she was looking right at Shelby, and Harry was back there
Was
across
walking
the street.
I thought
across,
she turned
yeah.
around.
No,
I was watching
not
a different
until, you know.
show today because I made all of this stuff up in my head. I thought that happened too.
It's all good.
But yet it's so funny because I knew that someone knew, like kind of.
I'm just saying. I
Yeah.
think
Shelby
I think
up
that
on
there's you pick and choose your battles sometimes, and I think Shelby could have at least played that off better by saying, "Hey, I know Alex from the FBI. It's good to see you," instead of making up some story, knowing that, to Renee's point, you can just Google somebody and everybody knows who Alex has been hanging out with, and it takes 2 seconds to click, 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 and you find
Right.
pictures
Yeah.
of her and Shelby.
Personally, I'm just glad that Shelby's back.
Because now it
I
makes
think,
Harry not trust her.
Yeah, because all of our old characters, I mean, we're trying to find a way, how do they reintegrate these characters we're familiar with into the new story? And that's been really hard.
And keep them
Obviously,
fresh.
the Rain and Nima, we found out they're going to use that. But I'm glad we have Shelby, because otherwise it's like, are we just going to see her kind of like Miranda's assistant,
right.
in an office?
Kinda
That's
boring.
no fun after we saw her train with Alex and everyone else. So I'm just glad that they found a way to reintegrate these characters. And I think that opens the door for Caleb and everyone else
yeah.
moving forward.
Someone online said that Caleb's going to come back having something to do with his mother,
He's got
which
to.
I think is obviously a very good prediction. You just said something like Harry doesn't trust Alex now.
Right, I'm saying it's another reason for him not to trust
her.
Alex.
Yeah.
And what is your motto?
Trust no one.
There we go.
But you just bring up Caleb because Caleb's at Berkeley Law.
Yes.
Diana's a lawyer.
Uh-oh.
So maybe
They know
he
each other.
knows of her. And maybe that's another reason why Caleb comes back in.
We
Oh my
need,
gosh,
like, the
what if they're together
Oh
and
my
then
gosh.
Shelby
Oh,
shows
here-
up and then
And
she
then there's
sees
another
them
triangle?
together? Bum, bum, bum.
You guys,
yes.
we're going to have a new segment after predictions called Renee's Corner. Renee's Quantico Corner.
Twin theory.
And she's just going to go off on these. Do you know what you remind me of when you do that? If
What?
you're bringing up shows, if everyone watches SNL, when Cecily Strong is on.
Are
and
you
she
going to
does
say
it-
the girl that you wish you never started a conversation with at a party?
I'm not going to say that. You just did because I'm just saying the person that says random stuff.
That's so
Like,
funny.
just goes out. It's not random, but it's, you get it.
But is it the girl that never started that girl? I
Yes.
love that character.
Yeah.
So thanks.
That was awesome.
It's a compliment.
so great. I'm like, wait, say you like it.
Oh my gosh.
So, you guys, I know a
hilarious.
lot of people on YouTube were kind of annoyed that season 2 looks a lot like season 1 with the themes, but we always get a glimpse of what the next episode is, which is, by the way, in 2 weeks. Super weird. Like, we just started the
I know.
season. So I don't know what that's about, but I already kind of like the idea that the script is flipped. Flip the script. Because Alex is on the inside this time. You know what I mean? She has access. She's not the one confused. Everyone else is on the outside. Alex is actually on the inside. So I think that's actually kind of cool. Did anyone think about that?
You know what? I get where you're coming from, and
Yeah.
I think certainly it's a different element to it. It's a different take
Different
on
angle,
a very
for sure.
on a very similar situation. And I get why a lot of the fans are saying, "Well, she's back in training, and they're doing flashbacks." I get that. I think it's a fresh take, but I actually think we're setting up for something like Alex is gonna feel like we know everything, and then there's gonna be that twist, and it's like you know nothing. And
Interesting.
I feel like that's gonna happen just because it's Quantico. It's one of those shows we have so many twists and turns that I think, well, something's gonna happen that Alex's theories that she thinks Miranda, here's what I got. It's all about to fall to shambles.
So just real quick, the reason Quantico's not coming back is because next Sunday is the second presidential debate.
We were right.
So
we
vice presidential
predicted that
is
before
Tuesday,
the show.
and then next Sunday is the second
I was about to
presidential.
say,
Sounds
it's like,
good.
wait, that's the next debate, right?
Yeah.
Sounds good. So you guys, you ready to
So
go
we'll
into
see real
predictions?
CIA agents.
Oh my gosh, we might need
TV.
some. Oh gosh.
Oh no.
Oh gosh.
I think it's time for predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
Love the lights. Love the lights.
Is there a title card?
For that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is there? I don't
We'll have
know.
to watch and see.
Our amazing AfterBuzz engineers can tell us.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, shoot.
Take it
I
away.
feel like I've been talking about predictions the whole time, though. Like
I feel like everyone has, but that's the thing. They're theories, but this is like really based on everything. What do we think's going
I
forward?
think that that Diana's going to have something to do with it now. I really think that, again, I'm sticking to my Eric story. Eric is going to come back, and he's going to have something to do with this. So we're getting like instructions.
A message
now. We're getting
from our
from
engineer.
from the powers that be.
From our people.
And so again, Diana is going to have something to do with Caleb because they brought up the law thing. Again, you got to follow the breadcrumbs, and that Miranda's not going to have anything to do with this. I just think that she's trying to play us.
Play us.
I hope so.
Oh,
Listen,
okay.
give the black people some credit in their show.
Yeah.
We could
always give
we
her
could not
credit.
not trust Blair Underwood or Miranda or Lydia. You got to trust one of the black people in the show.
The only one of those three I don't trust is Lydia. I love
Yeah, I don't
Blair
trust
Underwood,
Lydia.
and I love Miranda
Yeah.
and her as an actress. Renee, go ahead, take it away.
I think that they're sticking with the hiding in plain sight theme, and I think that Miranda is actually working with Ryan. I think Ryan knew more even going into it, which I think we'll find out later on. I just think that's all part of it because they weren't even told from the beginning that they were going to be on this mission together. There's a lot of information they don't know just about each other and their own mission. I think Ryan's mission is different than Alex's.
I think that my prediction is Owen is going to pop up in some capacity in the present day situation. And you know what? Alex did a lot of running. I think next episode, Alex is going to kick some ass.
Yes.
I also wanted to bring up something because you talked about the VP thing at the beginning.
Yeah.
I
gonna see Mama Haas?
wrote down what's the White House's angle for a reason. I don't know why I wrote that. But
Because of Paul
because
Berg.
of Paul Berg as the
Yeah.
Deputy National Security Advisor. So I think that Vice President Haas will have something to do with that later on.
I mean, she's coming. She'll be here. She's
yeah.
just.
She'll be bringing her son.
I feel like she's pulling strings right now from behind the scenes, and we'll see her.
Marsha
pretty soon.
Cross is not going to be on a show that she's not going to be on the show.
We do like very similar shows. I may not have seen all of the shows you have seen, but we have very similar tastes.
We'll need
Revenge.
some Desperate Housewives.
Yeah.
The Housewives.
For anyone who didn't know that
Marsha Cross
reference out there. So I super agree with Renee. I think Miranda has someone on the inside, and because we didn't see all of these phones go off, which usually happens if it's something like that, especially with this many terrorists in the building. And I feel like she has someone on the inside, just like she told Shelby to keep quiet that Alex is on the inside. Because I refuse, number one, to think Miranda is a bad guy. That just don't make no sense. And I just think somehow, I think that was a great prediction of Ryan knowing a little more going into it before we started the season, because how else would she have known that? But really, really strong prediction over there in the end.
I was going to say, so you're thinking Miranda didn't turn in Alex to a terrorist, but rather tipped off maybe someone who's an ally for Alex.
Our own people, because I'm the CIA now.
Okay.
Okay.
Our own people.
Trust me.
Are you on Owen's team or Alex's team?
We're actually in training.
Yeah.
We are
Right.
training
We're all
to be
going to the
agents.
farm after this.
That's where we go after. That's why it's so late.
Yeah.
We don't
Oh
want
my
anybody
gosh.
to know.
Oh, I can't even
Sneak out of
handle
the
you
back of the
guys.
studio.
No traffic.
Seriously, at this hour,
Right.
I know. So I'm
at this hour where we are right here in,
Los Angeles.
Los
beautiful Los
Angeles.
Angeles, where it's like cold at 65 degrees because it's been so hot.
That's
the
why I'm
last
wearing a
few days.
beanie right now.
Oh my goodness. So you guys, we do these awesome after shows, and we can't do them without helps from some of our sponsors. And one of them is Casper mattresses, which have been blowing up, by the way. They're either blowing up with their advertising dollars or something, because I hear about these guys everywhere. They're a sleep brand that created one perfect mattress sold directly to consumers, eliminating commission-driven inflated prices. It's award-winning sleep surface that they developed in-house, has a sleek design, as is delivered in a small, how did they do that sized box. In addition to the mattress, Casper also offers an adaptable pillow and soft breathable sheets. Don't we all want that? Speaking of the heat that's been happening.
Yes.
I mean, there's like,
I mean,
you know,
the
And this
perfect-
late at
don't
night.
sweat, but I'm perspiring.
I mean,
sheets
after a
is
long
pretty.
day, a perfect mattress just sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
And maybe Ryan and Alex will be on a Casper mattress.
Oh my goodness, coming up in 2 weeks. You guys, it's got amazing quality, and as far as the cost, the mattresses can cost. Mattresses in themselves, I really need a new mattress, so I'm paying attention to myself right now. Mattresses can often cost over $1,500, which is a comment I didn't want to hear or say. But Casper mattresses cost $500 for a twin size mattress. Ooh. That's kind of really cheap.
Yeah.
$750 for a full, and $850 for a queen, $950 for a king. That's kind of crazy if you're going to compare it to $1,500.
I know.
Buying the mattress is also risk-free. When does that happen? Right? So they offer free delivery and free returns with a 100-night home trial. What? That's crazy.
That's
it.
awesome.
If you don't love it, they'll pick it up and refund you everything. Casper understands the importance of truly sleeping on a mattress before you commit, especially considering you're going to spend a third of your life on it, which I think is absolutely true and wonderful about them. And you guys, special offer, you can get $50 towards any mattress purchase by visiting www.casper.com/AfterBuzz and using AfterBuzz. Terms and conditions apply. So, you guys, this is all awesome sauce about this mattress. I'm telling you, they are everywhere, and they're doing a lot of like competitions and contests. When you win a mattress. My sister does yoga, and she did a yoga contest on Instagram, or like an acro thing, and a Casper mattress was offered up.
Nice.
my
I thought you were
gosh.
going to
Isn't that
say
funny?
she's been doing the yoga
On the mattress.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, wow.
She wants
Cool.
to. But now we're getting into maybe some other realm that we don't really want to talk about here.
I mean, I was just gonna
For
say,
ABC. See,
when you're talking about a mattress and I've had a long day of work, it's like, that sounds perfect. Promo code AfterBuzz. I like it.
Yeah. Gabriel, just taking it right there. I love it. I love it.
It's true.
So you guys, anything else you want to say to close us out, and you can tell everyone where to find you. Go ahead, Renee.
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel, and you can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel. And make sure you check out my blog, catslipstickla.com, and my new article, How to Survive Someone Not Liking You.
I want to know what Leon put in the picture frame in 2 weeks in the room. So put your predictions in the comments below. You can follow me on all social media at Drexel Heard.
It's a camera, Drexel. No, Twitter at Double G on TV. Check on my profile. All the videos I did with Brie Galikovic of the Gilded Bellini.
Ooh. And if you guys have a topic or question, make sure to tweet us at hashtag ABTV Quantico. I always have to like pause and think about that because it's kind of long. And or leave a comment on YouTube, like Drexel said. We do all read them, and even if we don't get to comment, we're seeing ya and giving you a thumbs up. So you guys can follow me on all social media at Andy Fasano. That's Andy with an I. Thank you so much for watching episode 2, Lipstick of Quantico, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.